Alright, so now that you guys are hopefully closer to reaching your actual protein and calorie goals, you're starting to make some adaptations to your diet. Let's talk about measuring progress and using that to then make more adaptations to your diet over time. And the first one is your weight over time. So properly weigh yourself in the morning with your clothes off after going to the toilet, before eating, and 2 to 3 times a week, and get the average of those numbers. That's going to give you the most accurate actual weight of your body, and it's going to prevent you from thinking maybe I've lost weight or gained weight accidentally. Obviously your weight's not going to change like on a daily basis unless it's just due to water weight or food or whatever. So that is why weighing in properly is very important. The next one is optional, but I would say measurements. So taking your measurement of your waist, so tape measure around the waist as you can see here, at belly button height, don't suck in, keep it very neutral. And then also measuring around the biceps, flexed, and measure it at the biggest point. And the last one you should be keeping track of is your progress pics. So get the same lighting every time, whether it's like a bathroom light or a natural light. Before eating, no pump, front, side and back angles, no flexing, kind of neutral like this guy here. And again, you don't need these, but I do recommend just doing them once a month with the measurements. But the most important one you do need to be doing is weighing your body weight. So I'll just get one accurate measurement per week and keep track with that. Okay, so now that we understand how we're going to keep track of our progress, what are the actual changes you should expect? Well, based on whatever calorie intake you're going for, so if you're in a deficit or if you're at maintenance or if you're in a surplus, these are the expected weekly scale changes. However, some of you might be a lot heavier, so it might be quite different. Some of you might be a lot lighter, so it might be quite different. These aren't gospel. These are just rough figures to compare to. But obviously, if things are moving crazy in one direction, as in you're gaining loads of weight per week or you're losing loads of weight per week and it just seems off, then maybe it is off. And the best thing I'll do in that case is put a post up in the community or mention it on a group call, and we can always figure out what it actually is. But realistically, I wouldn't worry about it too much too early on, because early on, your weight will fluctuate a lot, especially with water. If you're cutting down calories, your water weight will drop a lot. Whereas if you're adding more calories, your water weight will go up a lot. So weight will change quickly early on. The key thing you obviously need to focus on is if you're in a calorie deficit, you should be losing weight. If you're in a calorie surplus, you should be gaining weight. If you're roughly eating around your maintenance calories, your weight shouldn't really move much at all. So early on, that is all you should have in your mind. Now, the next thing we can assess is measurements. Simply, if you're in a calorie surplus, so you're trying to gain weight, you should aim for bigger biceps and your waist should be roughly staying the same size. If you're in a calorie deficit, you should aim for a smaller waist over time and your biceps stay roughly around the same size. So that's why I think taking measurements is definitely a useful one, because it's just a simple way of seeing if you're trying to gain weight, you're not gaining fat, you're actually just gaining muscle. And if you're trying to lose weight, you're not losing muscle, you're just losing fat. So that is what you should look for in terms of measurements over time. And obviously the last thing to look for with progress pics is that visually over time you change. That's kind of a given, but don't expect too much too early on. I wouldn't stress staring at your progress pics 6 hours a day. It's not going to change that much too early on. So how do we actually adapt our diet when our weight or our appearance or our measurements actually change? The first thing I would do is rework out your maintenance calories. If your weight has changed, your maintenance calories have properly changed as well. As well as that, I'd reassess your body fat percentage, see where you're at on the chart and change your calorie goals if you feel that your body fat is different enough from where it was when you started. But just a fair warning, I don't want you guys scrutinizing this and thinking, has my body fat changed too early on? I don't know. Is this still the calorie goal I should be going for? Most of you won't need to make any changes for at least the first couple months. And if you do, bring it up on the group call and we can always talk over it, because a lot of the time people will get in the mindset of my body's changed a lot, when in reality it can be water weight shifting, it can be carbs making your muscles look more full, it can be a lot of things. So don't stress about changing your calorie goals too much too early on. Now back to the point I mentioned at the start about weight following the actual patterns above, I wouldn't stress about trying to hit those numbers that you saw too directly. However, if you are losing weight way too fast and it definitely seems wrong, especially if you're losing strength in the gym, you feel like you're weak all the time, you feel like you're really low energy, I would definitely up the calories a bit just to prevent yourself from risking muscle loss. Because if your calories are so low that you have no energy, no strength in the gym, you're obviously going to lose muscle with that. And when you're trying to burn body fat so quickly, your body risks burning muscle mass as well. On the flip side, if you're gaining weight way too fast, I would definitely lower your calories a bit. Otherwise, your body might risk storing those extra calories as fat, which is obviously something that you don't want. Again, you only really need a 200-300 calorie surplus to make the most out of muscle gains. So eating more and more as a skinny guy is not going to help you. It's, if anything, just going to make things worse, and it's going to mean that you have to cut down body fat later on, which is something that you probably don't want to have to do. Now, I know this video might have been a little bit of a confusing one. This is definitely one of the more advanced topics of diet. I wouldn't stress it too much, and definitely don't make too many changes like irrationally, just thinking, oh, this must have happened, therefore I must change my diet goals and all this and that. If you're not sure about dietary change, just bring it up in the group calls, make a community post about it. That's the best way to actually get a second opinion on it and get a confirmation. So just put a pic of your physique, put a post up about your weight, whatever it is that you want to mention and whatever it is that you have the concern about, just make a post about it and I can always give you some feedback. But just to recap, the main thing you need to be doing at this point is keeping track of your weight. That is the number one thing. If you want to go the extra mile, I would recommend tracking your measurements too, and I would definitely also recommend taking some progress pictures. For those of you in a calorie deficit, focus on seeing the scale weight go down week by week. For those of you in a calorie surplus, it should be going up. Again, with measurements, if you're in a calorie surplus, bigger biceps, waist roughly the same. If you're in a calorie deficit, smaller waist and biceps roughly the same. Those are the things you should be aiming for. Those are the things you should be keeping in your mind. So going away from this video, the main thing you need to do now is take a good measurement of your weight and start tracking that. Again, me and all the others in the community are always here to give you feedback. So good luck and get on with it.